this game, greatness is measured by the moments that defy the odds. The crack of the bat, the roar of the bleachers, and the rare perfect sequence of excellence. From the first pitch to the final out, we aren't just watching the game, we're breaking it down. From the Empty the Bench Network, it's time for you to step into the box. You are hitting for the cycle. And now, here's your hosts, Ben Kruse, David Weightman, and Ryan Touhey.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 90 of Hitting for the Cycle. I am your host, Ben Kruse, alongside my co-hosts, David Weightman and Ryan Touhey. Guys, how are you guys doing today?
Doing good. I was in a bad mood at the beginning of the week when the blizzard hit, but the sun is out and it's been melting most of the snow at least. So hopefully to God that was the last of the snow because I'm sick of it. And baseball is back. Spring training has been going on, and it's an exciting time. Optimism is starting to get higher.
How about you, David? David?
I don't think I can hear you guys. I think some of my mic might be out.
Okay.
All right.
Well,
we hear you.
As David's going through some technical difficulties, Ryan and I will keep riding the wave. Ryan, I'm doing myself right now. Obviously, congratulations, Team USA, on their great stuff for the Olympics. Talked about it earlier on this week. Both the men's and women's. Ice hockey got it done against a hated country over there in Canada. So we took it from them, took their best sport. So that was awesome to see. And like you mentioned, Ryan, we actually have some baseball to watch. I obviously know it's fake baseball, but it's better than nothing baseball, right? So, obviously we got some stuff to talk about, which is obviously exciting. And my 30th birthday will be on Monday. So I'm very, very excited to get into March and hopefully, like you mentioned, Ryan, to get some nice warm weather ahead of us. Before we get started, folks, make sure to take a look down on the ticker down bar below at Hitting for the Cycle on YouTube, on the Empty Bench Network. Follow us across social media at HFTC, ETB. Follow the Empty the Bench Podcast Network all across all of our social media at ETB Network. Follow me at BKruse90. Follow Ryan at R2E97. And then follow Damon at Weightman Stats. So, follow us on YouTube, ETB Network, and also Hitting for the Cycle at HFTC, ETB, like I mentioned, down in the ticker. All right, guys, we are going to get into just another great episode we got ahead of us. We got a lot to talk about, like you mentioned. We have some baseball we could, of course, talk about now. Obviously, the reaction of how our teams have been doing so far in spring. Like I mentioned, it's spring training, so can't really get ahead of ourselves. But, now it's a really big time where, guys are kind of getting themselves warmed up and getting some game reps ahead of them. And next week, a week from today, guys, when we get back here on Hitting for the Cycle, the World Baseball Classic will be being played. So I know, Ryan, you're not the biggest fan of it, like you talked about, but I do think for a lot of people, baseball fans, I just think for, to represent our country, especially coming off the Olympics, I think it's kind of also kind of cool to see how, Team USA did really well in the Olympics. Can Team USA in the World Baseball Classic kind of follow suit? And we got some stuff to talk about there. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about CC Sabathia's number being retired as that broke not too long ago. We're going to talk about a couple of things as well around the league, from different articles and stuff like that. So, folks, make sure to strap in. We're also going to get into our National League predictions as we talked about our American League predictions last week. So we're going to get into our National League predictions there. But let's get into, of course, our first topic like we usually always talk about, and that is the latest MLB signings and trades. Now, at this point in time, we're really just kind of there's really not much because it's like everybody's basically down the farm doing their thing in spring training. But there was a move that was made, and well, actually two. One was an extension from the Braves, and another one was from a resigning of the Toronto Blue Jays. So Max Scherzer has officially signed to go back to the Blue Jays. This obviously really wasn't a a surprise by any means. But I think just to give them just some extra, depth in their rotation, he doesn't have to be that guy anymore. So I think that was a really good move. And then Chris Sale is going to the Braves on a 1-year, $27 million contract extension. He has a club option for 2028. Sale is going to be a free agent, I believe, after next season, but they kind of want to get it all down. So I think, as a Red Sox fan myself, a lot of Red Sox fans are preparing for the worst and maybe seeing Chris Sale become a long-term Brave and maybe going down there retire as a Brave. But I'm very happy for Chris. I know he's doing really, really well down in Atlanta. But guys, really quickly, just any of your final thoughts about these two type of things that went down, and is there any other moves that you guys saw that I also maybe missed?
I kind of saw both of them coming. I think Scherzer was either going to re-sign with the Blue Jays or call it a career. I didn't really see him going anywhere else. And Scherzer's a competitor. Obviously, his best days are behind him, but he still can give you a solid quality outing here and there. And he showed his fire and passion in the playoffs last year against Seattle, where he basically screamed at John Schneider when he was trying to take him out in 3 or 4, I forget which one it was, but he basically told Schneider get back to the dugout. Scherzer, he's a Hall of Famer at the end of the day, and we'll see how he does in 2026. I believe he's going to be 42 this year, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll see if he's able to put together one last quality season. And for Chris Sale, he has kind of revitalized his career as a Brave. Obviously won the Cy Young Award a couple of years ago after just a couple of injury-plagued seasons in Boston. So he's kind of found fountain of youth down in Atlanta. And in all likelihood, that's probably where he's going to wrap up his career. Sale, I believe, is going to be 36 or 37 this year. The Braves obviously continue to struggle with injuries, especially to that rotation. So, locking up Sale for another year, I think, is a pretty wise move on their part. And,
just looking at the rotation depth for the Blue Jays right now. So Shane Bieber is going to be expected to begin the season on the IL with a forearm injury. So right now, currently their pitchers are Kevin Gausman, newcomer Dylan Cease, Trey Savage, Max Scherzer, Jose Barrios, Cody Ponce, and Eric Lauer. It's pretty deep. It's like I mentioned last week, I predicted the Toronto Blue Jays to be coming out of my American League East. And I do think, Scherzer obviously is not the same guy he once was, but I do think, kind of put him in that back end. He's definitely somebody that could just give you innings, I think still. Whether it's still 4 or 5, no, it's still better than nothing, right? I think that they have a really good thing kind of going for them right now. Ryan, another move that I forgot to mention is that your Yankees got a Yankee killer a couple days ago, and that was Randall Grichuk is going to be a Yankee as a non-roster invitee, according to Jack Curry. Ryan, do you have anything about that? Of course, I will talk about the Giancarlo injury situation later on in the program, but do you think there might be some type of thing with that potentially, especially if Stan might have to miss some time again?
Stan's not playing an entire season. There's no way that's happening.
I would just say, does this?
We'll be lucky.
What do you think Grichuk would play kind of in terms of the spring? Like where do you think in terms of his roster battle, in terms of outfield?
He definitely, I think, provides another righty off the bench for depth. He would probably be a designated hitter or 4th or 5th outfielder. He wouldn't be an everyday player. Grichuk used to kill the Yankees when he was a Blue Jay, but Grichuk, I think, is going to be 36 or 37 this year. So he's a veteran.
He's 34.
Oh, he's 34. All right. So he's still a Grizzly veteran. He's a right-handed bat, which the Yankees could use a little bit more of because they're so left-handed dominant. So, in my opinion, it's a decent bench move. I definitely think that Grichuk provides a lot of leadership and experience. I think he can definitely gel with the Yankees, and maybe provide some depth. That's basically the way I look at this move. I don't really think too much about it, but we'll see if he plays a decent amount this season.
I do think, with Grichuk, because there's a lot of uncertainty right now with Jason Dominguez and Spencer Jones, that Grichuk at least is a veteran. So, like, you know for a fact that he can play, obviously, if the guys aren't ready. I mean, you know, we'll talk about the spring training reports in a little bit, but one guy that you talked about, Ryan, was Spencer Jones. How is he going to look so far in spring? And so far, he's made an impression, right? At least in a couple games, he's a couple nukes. Granted, it's only spring, but I do think with Grichuk, he's just coming off of a really good year 2 years ago, batting 291, 2024 with the Diamondbacks in 106 games played. Now, granted, last year with the Royals, he played in 43 games, only batting a 206 average. But, you know, like you mentioned, he's only there pretty much for an extra outfielder. Maybe he has better splits with lefties, righties. A couple guys sometimes like that. If you're an extra outfielder, you might have better splits. And I think Grichuk is good against lefties. So that might kind of help as well. But, David, I think your mic is back on. Just checking one more time. All right, cool. How are you doing today on the program? And just anything in terms of the latest signings and trades with baseball?
Doing good. Wasn't surprised with the signings with Sale and Scherzer. Scherzer's a good 4-5 thing. The one thing surprising still is that Lucas Giolito not signed. Zach Littell not signed. So are they asking for too much? Are teams like, we'll wait till the end of spring training and then we'll look at these guys in terms of signing them? I don't, like I said, it's a very interesting situation. There's a lot of pitchers that are not signed yet. So it's just like, it's like, I guess it's maybe because of the market, maybe it's because of the impending lockout. I don't know. It's surprising. I'm surprised with Giolito.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because, I mean, well, the thing is, I think, you know, Giolito is a perfect guy to be a low risk, high reward type of move where, you know, he can come in as like your back end guy and, you know, give a team like innings, right? Look at a team, like a small market team like the A's. Look at a team like, you know, the Twins, you know, a team like the Pirates, a guy that could just come in. I do think that, you know, watch out for a team like the Diamondbacks. Merrill Kelly is not going to be expected to be ready for opening day. Right. He got hurt. Can a team like that kind of swoop him in and get him, right? So there will be a team, I think, for him, but it's going to be, you know, we'll have to see about what happens there. So, all right. Now let's going to get into our spring training reports, guys. And I guess I'll start first. So I'll be honest, I have not watched a lot of spring training, granted, because a lot of the games are early on the day. And typically, if I'm working, I'm missing a lot of the games. So obviously, I'll kind of watch some highlights here and there. But I will just say so far that one of the things I talked about with the Red Sox last week is how are they going to look with this new look lineup, right? And obviously, you don't have Alex Bregman there. And so where is the pop going to be coming from? Who are the guys that are kind of plug and play? Today, the Red Sox are going to be taking on the Braves, and old friend Chris Sale will be taking the mound against us. Brian Bay on the bump at 105 in, where is it here? In Northport, Florida. Ryan, your Yankees are taking on the Twins at 105. And David, your Phillies, if I can find the Phillies here. You're taking on the Marlins. It's a split squad game. Yeah, so that is that. But yeah, the Red Sox with Roman Anthony, he of course is going to be going over to US. I don't think he's leaving the next couple of days. Roman hasn't really done much so far offensively. Granted, like I mentioned, take it with a grain of salt. It's only spring. So you know, if you're going to be bad now. Get all the stuff out of it and stay healthy. Jarren Duran, I think, is been really good. The thing about Jarren Duran and Ryan, David, I think you alluded to, but Jarren Duran last year, they put him into the number 3 spot quite a bit in the second half of the season. I thought that he really took that to his advantage. You know, Wilson Contreras is another guy. He had his first homer with the Red Sox a couple days ago in spring. And I obviously love the approach that he had, going opposite field, you know, and that's, of course, going to be something big because you know for a fact he's going to be able to hit the pepper the monster. You know, that is one thing that I think, you know, Contreras can come in for. The catching position, you know, right, you have Connor Juan over there and trying to think of the other guy we have right now. I'm just slowly drawing up. Like, we feel like we just have so many catchers. And then our pitching staff. Garrett Crochet, obviously, with 2 innings yesterday. Good to see Crochet back at the bump and doing his thing. You kind of seen some other guys like pitch couple innings here and there. I mean, Garrett Whitlock got to pitch a couple innings before he goes over to the U.S. for the World Baseball Classic. Justin Slayton obviously getting some action in. Third base, Caleb Durbin, Ryan. I think so far, granted, he's made an impression a little bit. He's making contact. I think he's been kind of plugging at third base, playing second base. IKF, you're doing your thing so far, my man. I'll give you a round of applause. Just make the plays in the infield and be a good backup, because I think Romy Gonzalez is going to be missing some time to start the season. It sucks for Romy because Romy was a Yankee killer last year, and he's just a really good overall role player to have. And then Marcelo Meyer, I think, is coming back today. Meyer obviously is a guy that we're really banking on this year. So, our rotation has gotten the chance. Ranger Suarez gave an absolute nuke to Connor Griffin, who we'll talk about later on the program. Watch this name out, folks. Connor Griffin from the Pittsburgh Pirates. They might have another star in the making in Pittsburgh. But Ranger Suarez, David, it was good to see Ranger get on the bump for the first time as a Red Sox. Felt a little weird, but I'm going to definitely get used to it. And definitely interested to kind of see what his pitch mixes is like. It looked like, it was kind of – the thing about spring training that I do like is the pitching staff, how many different type of pitches you can kind of work with, because the games don't matter. So work on the different type of pitches that you will like and not like. And I think Ranger, of course, he's a four-seam fastball. He's a sinker. He has a curveball. So it's different, different arsenal, which I like. And then you had Oviedo pitch, former Pirate, yesterday. And I think he's going to be the number 5 guy. Connolly obviously is in the back end as well. So I think everything for the most part, knock on wood, is looking pretty okay right now for the Sox. And the biggest thing about spring is just stay healthy, because we don't have a lot of depth. If Roman goes down for a long period of time, I mean, man, right? So that's what I'm looking at right now for the Sox. And, next week, of course, the World Baseball Classic. We will talk about some more predictions later on the program, but that is that. Ryan, I will go to you, your Yankees, on your spring training report so far, what you've kind of seen so far. I at least I'll say from my end is Spencer Jones looks like he wants to try to make the team.
Oh, I would hope so. I mean, he's been in the minors for God knows how many years at this point. I mean, he's been down there since 2022 when the Yankees drafted him. But yeah, last week, or the week before, I mentioned how Spencer Jones was one story that I was keeping an eye on for the Yankees during the spring training. And Jones, like we mentioned, when he hits the ball, he hits it a long way, and he has hit 2 monstrous home runs so far this spring. And he did it again yesterday against the Braves. He hit just an absolute bomb to right field that was well out of Steinbrenner Field and ended up going into the parking lot area behind Steinbrenner Field. So, Jones, there's no question he's got power. And he's got 2 home runs this spring, so that's nice to see. Strikeouts are still a problem, though. He's 2 for 6 this spring training, and basically every other time he's gone to the plate, he's either walked or he has struck out. And
that sounds very familiar from another guy, but I don't want to really bring up.
Yes, we have too many guys who do this.
Yeah,
whether that be Giancarlo Stanton or Trent Grisham or Jazz Chisholm sometimes. The Yankees have too many players who are like this. And while I definitely think Spencer Jones at least deserves a shot in the big leagues, I think he's paid his dues enough. I want to see him at least with the team on opening day. Whether the Yankees keep him for the entire season or we use him as a trade piece at the deadline, we'll see. I think, though, that it's time for Spencer Jones to make his big league debut this year. He's been in the minors long enough. He was a number 1 Yankees pick in the draft a couple of years ago. You're not going to keep your number 1 pick in the minor leagues for the entire duration of his career. Like, it's time to at least bring him up. If they bring him up, I would expect him to struggle significantly in the beginning because his strikeout numbers are just so high. But I definitely think that, some familiarity with big league pitching on a daily basis could definitely improve his hitting overall. So, we'll see. I think Jones is going to have a good spring overall. Strikeout numbers are definitely a concern regardless, no matter what. So that's one thing that I have been intrigued by. Another thing that has intrigued me was Ryan Weathers, the Yankees' big offseason trade acquisition from Miami. Made his Yankee debut, his spring training debut, a couple of days ago against the Nationals, and he shoved. He threw 3 2/3 shutout innings. He allowed just 1 hit, no walks, struck out 5, and he reached 100 miles an hour, which was the fastest pitch of his career. And I mean, Weathers right now, I mean, it's a spring training game. It's only a couple of innings, but he really could be a really big piece for the Yankees this season, especially for a rotation that has really had its share of injury problems over the past couple of years, and the fact that we have a couple of guys coming back from Tommy John surgery this year, and Clark Schmidt and Garrett Cole. I mean, you can never have enough pitching. I mean, that rings true. And, the Yankees just every year they're going to lose an arm or two at some point during the season. And, Weathers, he struggled. He's had his share of injuries as well. So that is also kind of a concern. But, I liked what I saw. And Matt Blake has had a history of turning guys around. So, this could be Ryan Weathers' big breakout season. So, it was an encouraging sign.
All right. Well, David, I'll go now to you. What is your report down in Clearwater, Florida for your Phillies?
It's the first week's interesting because, today was the first time Zach Wheeler actually pitched off the mound. He was doing long tosses. He's not supposed to start till I think late April, early May. So, but at least it's a decent sign. What I've seen a lot has just been, Taijuan Walker pitched yesterday and gave up a run, so that's typical him. It wasn't a home run, thankfully. They're doing a lot of bullpen outings. Like one game, Keller started, another game somebody else started. It seems like they're just throwing guys out there because all their guys have now left, I think, for the World Baseball Classic. They're starters. So you're seeing a lot of, bullpen games and whatever else. In terms of the hitters, I mean, Aiden Miller's down right now with a back injury, but it's nothing serious. He's one of our top prospects. Justin Crawford's been okay. Really playing a good center field. That's all I can. Well, I'm not expecting him to hit 40 home runs. I want him just to get on base, steal bases, and play a good center field. So I'm fine with that. Overall, they've been okay. There's nothing great. Hitting's been okay, whatever else. I've also been watching other Cactus League and spring training games from around, like Connor Griffin. Incredible start. Saw Spencer Jones yesterday. It looks like he changed his batting stance. And like Ryan said, it's like he dented the car in right center field. It just kept on going.
So David, you say he changes his batting stance, but unfortunately with Jones, it feels like he changes it all the time. And now but I do think he finally made an actual stance that might work for him, and that is a quick leg kick, in terms of the overall load that he has. People want to compare it to Shohei. Let's pump the brakes a little bit here. I just want to – he's a kid. Shohei obviously is the GOAT right now. So, but obviously if he kind of has a similar thing like Shohei in terms of if it works, it works. Because pretty much when he got into the overall start of the season, people, of course, want to kind of get their overall, their situation going.
And then the other guy I saw on TV at the Cactus League games, who's a top prospect for Colorado, Charlie Condon. 6 for 10 to start off the season with 2 home runs. He hit one yesterday. I think it was about 450, 460 to left center, or it was the opposite field. Maybe it was left. I forget it was one of those ones. He looks like he's going to be. I mean, I'm not expecting much from Colorado this year, but maybe he makes the big leagues this year. So that's been why I saw him. And I've seen some other guys. I saw Schemes pitch. He looked really good. So. Yeah, I mean,
there's another guy too. There's another guy too, and Ryan, he's on the other New York team, and that is New York Mets Nolan McLean. Nolan McLean, I think, is going to be a big part to the Mets in terms of the rotation because, obviously you have Freddie Peralta at the top, but McLean, like yesterday, he went 4 innings pitched with 6 punches, right?
Yeah.
That's against the Astros type of team that has typically a pretty good lineup. Like we mentioned, granted, it's only a sprain, but McLean, he's obviously going to be going to U.S. next week, so I think he really, of course, did well. Couple injuries as well to kind of look at and monitor. Royce Lewis, man. I mean, the thing about Royce Lewis, he has all the talent in the world, but there's just so many guys in the league that, just unfortunately just have these type of problems, and either never the same or they just cannot stay on the field. And Royce Lewis was scratched on Thursday to experience right side tightness. And it was outside of caution, but they reported that he's going to have an MRI. He came back clean. That's just somebody. And then from the Orioles. So, of course, we talked about the Orioles with Westberg, but their catcher, Samuel Basallo, left the game Thursday due to right side abdominal discomfort. So the Orioles have a couple of guys right now, between Holiday, between Westberg, and now Basallo. We'll see in terms of if he misses any time. And then another guy really quickly before we get into our next topic, Jack Caglione, one of the top prospects for the Kansas City Royals. He had 2 hits yesterday, and he had an extra velo on a 2 RBI double that was 120.2 miles an hour. Only 2 balls were hit harder MLB all of last season with that extra velo. So Jack Caglione should be a big part to the Royals team this year. Very similar to Roman and a couple of the top guys, around the league. But that's what I've seen so far in spring. Ryan, did you want to say something? It looked like you wanted to say something.
No, I was just shaking my head when I heard that Royce Lewis was dealing with another injury because, like you said, I always hear people praising the guy's talent, and sure, he's talented, but I don't know if he's ever going to really reach his full potential with all these injuries that the guy's had. I mean, if you want to talk about a guy who's made of glass, Royce Lewis is like the textbook example of that.
No, I don't know what is it too with like some of these guys have all the talent that are on really bad teams, and they just seem to be just like Chris Bryant. Like Chris Bryant was one of the best players, felt like one of the best players when he was on the Cubs for a while. Like, of course, he got them over the curse, and then he went to the Rockies, and the guy just can't stay on the field at all. Anthony Rendon, another guy. I mean, that guy, of course, just stopped caring about baseball. But when he was on the Nationals, I mean, he was a very, very good player. And then, of course, he went over to the Angels, and he just completely fell off the earth and stopped caring about baseball.
Well, since we're talking about injuries, should we talk about the big injury, I guess, with the Yankees at this point?
Oh, yes. Well, Ryan, I will first put into my overall sense, and then, Ryan, I'll go to you. Okay. David, did you see this, by the way, with Giancarlo?
No, what do you do now?
Oh, so as you know, and Ryan and I have talked about Giancarlo Stanton. I feel like got a premium, unfortunately, on this program for the last couple of years, because unfortunately, Ryan, like you mentioned, he can never stay healthy. But David, imagine not being able to open up a bag of chips, like a bag of potato chips. Well, reportedly from Randy Miller, who is somebody around the Yankees, he said. Giancarlo Stanton said yesterday, I cannot open up a bottle. So like a regular water bottle or just some type of bottle. I can't open up a bag of chips, a bag of anything. That's the way it is. Of course, Giancarlo's had many elbow injuries, and Ryan, you're just looking at me like you just could not make this up. I looked at that overall at work yesterday, and I think I put it in the overall chat, the Slack chat. Just saying, like, I feel for him, like I really do. Like, take away just like myself as a Red Sox fan, of course, him being a Yankee. Like, just imagine that, like your overall body, like function as an overall person, and just like being able to function is a big part in terms of how you're able to just live throughout your day, right? And for Giancarlo to publicly just say like, I can't overall just do the bare minimum and like open up a bottle or open up a bag of chips. Like, I just like, it's sad. Like, cause elbow injuries and just when you have certain type of injuries, typically it's like keeps piling on and on and on. And unfortunately, Ryan, I'll go to you. Like, I mean, what do you, I don't want to laugh, but like, what do you make about this now?
I don't want to laugh either.
I don't like it's
really don't.
Like,
it's the reason why like I have this like grin on my face is because I just feel, number one, I feel bad. Yeah. Number two, he can't catch a break. And number three, for a guy who has just an absolute specimen of a physique, the fact that he has this incredible body.
Yeah, for real. Yeah.
Yet it breaks down like sugar glass is just incredible. When his career is over, he really needs to consider maybe partaking in a science experiment to see what it is about a body like this that just continuously refuses to just cooperate with you. Giancarlo Stanton is one of the strangest baseball players I've ever seen in my life, and he will go down as possibly one of the strangest I'll ever see in my entire life. I don't know if anyone is going to compare to this. His elbows are barking again. He had this issue last spring. They refer to it as tennis elbows, and basically it wiped him out for about a quarter of the season last year, a quarter of the regular season last year. He didn't come back. He didn't make his season debut till early or mid-June against the Angels. But yeah, I mean, Giancarlo, I guess all the years of training his heart out, because the guy pushes his body to the extremes in the off season, and I just think that all the years of weightlifting and whatever he did, I've just really caught up to him. I mean, he still has power, but now the fact that he's playing in constant pain is a concern. And, everyone loves, the Yankees obviously love Giancarlo. The fans love Giancarlo. You don't really hear anybody say a bad thing about the guy, but he only has 2 more years left of this contract, this year and next year. And when next year is over, don't do anything with him. Do not offer him a contract or anything like that. You got to let him go. All right, for his sake and for the Yankees' sake, because as much as Giancarlo is beloved in that clubhouse and by the fan base, he's clogging up a roster spot more so at this point, and he's not.
You got to take that dead off. That dead weight off. Unfortunately,
he'll maybe play. If the Yankees are lucky, he plays 100 games this year at most. But there's no way he's playing a full season. If I'm the Yankees, I'm really reducing his playing time this year to maybe 3 times, maybe 4 times at most a week. It's crazy. It's just absolutely crazy how, the guy says he can't open a bag of chips or open a bottle of water. That right then, if that doesn't raise alarm bells, not only for him going into the season, but for his life after baseball, then I don't know what does.
I feel like we're at Groundhog Day. And we just talked about this almost a year ago with the tennis elbow. And now we're a year later, and the guy can't open up a bag of chips. Man. David, do you have any really quick thing, because we have some other stuff we got to get to?
Oh yeah, and actually, this is announced this morning, courtesy of Brian Hoke, who I think covers the Yankees.
Yes.
This deals with Giancarlo today. Him, Aaron Judge, and Trent Grisham in live batting practice will face Garrett Cole. So it's a good test for the elbows. You're going to face somebody who's going to be throwing 95 plus maybe today for 1 inning. So,
David, I thought you were going to mention that Giancarlo had like a step back.
I was waiting for that.
No. Well, he could if he swings with his elbows. They would Cole pitching. This thing with Stan, or not Stan, with Stan. He never had surgery too, so I guess it's like he doesn't want to go under the knife. I guess it's like, I'm just going to play through this.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of those guys. I just wonder after baseball if he does stem cell, like he goes somewhere and like they shoot up his elbows or they do something for quality of life. Like, you can say it's joking, but it's not. It's like to do something where you have to kind of like figure out how to function life. Because his situation, you said with the chips, is Chris Bryant with the toothpaste.
That's right.
You can't get up, you can't move, and you can't. There's something probably structurally, whether it's like, I don't know, it's veins or what. I don't know what it is, but it's crazy. You can't open a bag of chips. There's something seriously wrong. But yet, like I said, you're going to face somebody who throw 95, and you're like, oh, I'm fine now.
Yeah. Well, Ryan, brace yourself.
This live batting practice is going to scare me. We have a guy with tennis elbows and a guy coming back from Tommy John surgery.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
what could go wrong?
Yeah, one guy trying to get back on the come up, and another guy.
I swear to God, if I see a report later today that says either Cole or Stanton is injured, I'm going to throw something.
Who are you predicting? Cole or Stanton?
Before Ryan loses his mind now, we're going to get into something else. And Ryan, this is going to maybe be something that will cheer you up. as CC Sabathia's number will be retired by the New York Yankees. That'll be coming on September 26th. Ryan, I'll even go to the game with you, my friend, if I have to for that game, because I will say this. That is absolutely deserved. I do think CC is one of the greatest to go down. Now, in terms of like top ballot, I don't know. I really just have not looked at his overall numbers. I'll let Ryan, you do the overall numbers because, of course, he was with your team for a while. But, this guy was an absolute specimen. And, he obviously around his career was much of a harder type of thrower, but this was a perfect type of pitcher in which later on his career, he basically did not have to throw hard moves completely accurate in terms of his overall pitch mix. Very good changeup, very good fastball, but it basically was just a different quadrants. And another thing about CC was he was a very good big game pitcher. He just had a lot of balls. He shut us down. He shut up, he was obviously with Cleveland. He had some good things over there. But, Ryan, I will say congratulations to CC Sabathia and your Yankees on getting this situation done. And, Ryan, will you be at the stadium for this retirement ceremony?
Well, his ceremony's not until September, like at the very end of the season. So it's too early for me to decide whether or not I'm going to that game. But, I have mixed feelings about this. Look, I love CC. I thought he was a terrific Yankee. The Yankees don't win the World Series in 2009 without him. He was the LCS MVP against the Angels. He delivered many times in the postseason, such as 2009. Also pitched a complete game, the clinching game against Baltimore in 2012. And he also pitched a couple of good games against Cleveland in 2017 in the division series, won the clinching game in Cleveland. Sabathia was a workhorse, obviously, a stud. Teammates loved him. The fans loved him. And he really just transformed to the Yankee clubhouse. And he really just was basically almost everything you could have wanted from the guy. Won 20 games a couple of times as well as a Yankee. He was, he was worth it at the end of the day. And, I'm the mixed emotions, though, in terms of him getting his number retired. I would have had no problem if they wanted to give him a plaque in Monument Park.
I think they're doing that, actually.
I think they are, too.
I'm pretty sure that's what they're doing.
They are doing
Yeah. And I understand that he was a Yankee for a long time. He was a Yankee for, 9 years, I think, from 2009 to 2019. 11 years. Yeah, so he was a Yankee for a very long time. It's kind of surprising. I don't know if surprising is the right word, but I guess it's a little, when you realize how long he was a Yankee, over a decade, you're like, oh wow, he was really there for a long time. He was a Yankee longer than some guys who were, I guess, more notable as Yankees. But this is going to be the 25th number. This is going to be the 24th number retired by the Yankees for the 25th person. Number 8's retired twice in honor of Bill Dickey and Yogi Berra. And I guess 42 if you want to count Jackie Robinson alongside Mariano. I guess Sabathia, I think, is definitely more deserving of having his number retired compared to some other guys who have their number retired. The fact that we're reaching the 24th number to be retired by the Yankees, do the math. We have 76 numbers remaining for the Yankees to give to their players and coaches. We only have 76 left. Some guys who the Yankees have retired numbers for do not deserve to have their number retired by the Yankees. I will stand by that.
You have a certain name that we might know about that shouldn't?
Reggie Jackson, right off the top.
Okay.
Have his number retired. Yes, he was the World Series MVP in '77.
What?
Game 6, I understand that. It was a legendary performance, one of the greatest World Series performances of all time. He was only a Yankee for 5 years, and one was a strike-shortened season in '81. Not long enough. He was also a pain in the butt for the Yankees to deal with at times. So, he's one. Roger Maris is another. Yes, 61 home runs in '61. Not a Yankee long enough. And besides 1961, he was a very good player. He was not great. I would say also Billy Martin doesn't deserve to have his number retired by the Yankees. Yes, Martin was always expressed pride in being a Yankee, but he was a decent player. He wasn't terrific or anything like that. And yes, he was a good manager, but the guy couldn't hold down a job. So that's another guy. And those are the top three off the top of my head. There are a couple of more guys who I would have to look through the entire.
No, you're good. You're good. At least,
yes, but this is look. I'm happy for CC, and like I said, he deserves to have his number retired more than those three guys that I just mentioned. But this is still becoming way too much. If you're gonna retire CC's number, can you at least consider bringing one of those other guys' numbers out of retirement? Because eventually, because we know Aaron Judge is gonna have his number retired soon when he retires.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get up to 26 numbers eventually, or we're gonna get up to 25 numbers at this point. So it's just a lot. It's too much. And, like I said, I love CC, but yeah, it's just like, oh my God, we're going to run out of numbers. We're going to have to use triple digit numbers soon. So, yeah.
All right. David, I'll get to you, but we're kind of running low on time. Unless it's really quick, because I wanted to get.
I was just gonna mention some names for Ryan to unretire. And I'll mention 4: Guidry, Andy Pettit, Jorge Posada, Paul O'Neill.
I would unretire Pettit and Paul O'Neill.
Paul O'Neill, I would agree with.
Okay. Well,
that's all.
That's that. But yeah, Ryan, congrats to him. And that'll be that. So we talked about our AL predictions last week. You guys ready for the NL?
Oh yeah.
All right, let's do it. So, NL predictions. We will start. I think I did the AL East to start last week, so I will start with the National League East this week. All right. So, National League, I will start first. And for me, I got the Braves coming back on top. I just think, to me, that the Braves want something to prove. Thought I was waiting for a sec. Ronald Acuna Jr., I think will have a much better season. I think he'll stay healthy. Sale, obviously, is under contract. I don't know. I mean, the Braves missed the playoffs last year, right? I think.
Yes.
So I just feel like that they're not going to be bad again this year. And I think that they got the pieces. I know they brought back Iglesias. I just think that they're going to be right there. Number 2, I'm going to go with the Mets. I think that the Mets, with the addition of Freddie Peralta, I think is a massive one at the top. And I think with Bo Bichette, the addition of Bo Bichette, with RBIs, he's one of the top guys in RBIs in the middle of the order. You got one of the best hitters in Juan Soto ahead of him. And, of course, losing Pete and Edwin, of course, are massive. But I think that the Mets got a little bit more athletic, and I think it's going to help the results. Phillies, I'm going to go number 3, David. I'm sorry to say. But the Phillies, what I worry about is our health. I worry about in terms of the health of the rotation, of course, with Zach Wheeler, and then Nola. What is Nola going to be like? Because last year with Nola, it was a very big question mark. So I from there, and then the lineup, right? The lineup has just been kind of a lineup that's been kind of, I think it's going to be solid. I think that it's just going to be kind of, the Mets and Phillies are going to, the Mets and Phillies are going to go neck and neck, but I think that the Mets are going to eke them out by a couple games. So I think the Phillies are going to regress a little bit. I do think they'll be a wild card team, though. I do. I think they're going to be 2 National League East teams that come out in the wild card. But I got the Phillies there. And then I have I don't know. I'll go with the Marlins and 4th. I think that the rotation, I think they're going to make a little bit of a jump. And then the Nationals, they're just kind of their type of team. So this is kind of a tough one because I feel like there's going to be some teams that are definitely going to have a jump and some teams are going to have a little bit of a dip. But I'm going to take a gut here. I'm going to go Braves number 1, Mets 2, Phillies 3, Marlins 4, and Nats 5. Ryan, I'll go to you.
Yeah. Oh man, actually,
it's tougher than you think. Actually.
No, it is tougher. I mean, I know that the Braves, their expectations for them to rebound this year, but I really don't trust their health. I really don't.
That's fair.
This team struggles with injuries every single season. So, I'm going to stick with the Phillies number 1. I'll say the Phillies win the NL East. I'm going to go with the Braves for number 2. You know what? I'll give the Braves second place. I'll go with the Mets third. I will go Marlins fourth, and I will go Nationals fifth. I could be completely wrong.
Yeah, so you pretty much have a very similar bottom half as the top. You just kind of flip-flop, and I can see that. David, I think I know what your number 1 is.
The run it back boys from Broad Street, I have one. I'm not good. I'm not happy at all with that back end. I won't be. Nola, I think, sucks. I've never been a Nola guy at all. Walker's good for we have talked about him. I'm curious about Painter. I'll be curious to see how he handles whatever, that whole thing. Lineup is decent. I'll be curious how Garcia is. He's had 2 really bad years in Texas. This is a rebound year, and it's really a one and gun thing for them. I got the Mets second. I think the Mets are going to make a big move at the deadline. That's why I keep thinking over and over back of my head. If Detroit struggles, I see them going for Scooble. Go for the prospects. Here you go. I mean, they got a good prospect, some good pitchers.
Uncle Stevie coming big.
Yeah. Atlanta, I have third. New manager, Walt Weiss. I love the lineup, but like what Ryan says, they're brittle with pitching. Everything with that. Florida, I have fourth. It's a 500 team. And then the Nats, they might lose 100 games this year. They got James Wood, and I think they just picked up, the guy from the Cardinals, Michaelis, whatever his name is. They have a bunch of nobodies.
They lost Mackenzie Gore. They essentially lost some of their best stuff they have going for them. So that basically says
they're bad.
All right, NL Central. This one's also tough.
Yes.
Really, actually, this might be the toughest one of all of our predictions. But for me, number 1, I got the Cubs. I think the Cubs, to me, are ready. I think I picked the Cubs to go pretty deep last year.
They were your World Series pick last year.
They were my World Series predict last year. Of course, they let me down. Ryan picked the Brewers, David, last year, and he was right. He beat me on that. But I don't know. The Cubs, I really like again. I know they lost Tucker, but PCA obviously was a big part to their team. I think he's a big part once again. You brought in Alex Bregman there now. So I think that infield, of course, Dansby there, I think will be better. Michael Busch, a really good name that people don't talk a lot about, but he's really, really solid there. And I think bringing back Justin Steele. Justin Steele, of course, missed a lot of last season. You have him with Shota. Matt Boyd's still there. I just like the whole with Craig Counsell, like the whole thing there with the Cubs. Number 2, I gonna go with the Reds. I think the Reds, to me, are ready for the next step. Of course, Ellie's coming to his own. Hunter Green's obviously here. Nick Lodolo. Something tells me that the Reds are gonna be right there at the end, and so I'm gonna go them. The Brewers, I got number 3rd. Losing Freddie Peralta, guys, is a massive one. It is, and I understand losing Corbin Burns a couple years ago. They're like, well, the Brewers seem to always be there. Eventually, with the Brewers, like their consistency of luck is going to, kind of go down a little bit. I'm not saying that they're going to take a massive regress, but the Brewers are going to be regressing a little bit more than I think a lot of people are expecting. Number 4, I'm going to go with Pittsburgh. I think the Pirates are going to make better strides this year. I think it'll be kind of a 500 team. It'll be a fun 500 team with Griffin there. I think he's going to play a lot more this year, and Skeens obviously is going to do his thing. But Pirates still have a long way to go. They're still super young, and the Cardinals stink. They are going to be absolutely awful, and that's going to be my last team. David, I'm going to go to you on the Central first, and then Ron, I'll take it to you. Who do you have for your Central?
Cubs 1. I have Reds 2 with a really good rotation. Just be curious how their bats are this year.
Mm-hmm.
I've been debating this back and forth with Milwaukee and Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's got, I really don't want to. I want to go Milwaukee 3rd. I guess the more of the bats and whatever. Losing Peralta is huge.
It is.
Pittsburgh's got a nice middle of the lineup, and their starting rotation of, let me see if I get this right. Skeens, Jones. Seems like Brubaker might be third, or not. Skeens, Keller, Jones, Brubaker, and then they got I think number 5. His name's Ashcraft. He's a big righty.
Yeah, from the Reds, Grant Ashburn.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So I'll have them fourth, but I definitely see them improving a lot this year. And then the Cardinals will be like the Nats. That's a great 3-game series. Nats versus the Cardinals, man. Packed houses at Busch Stadium. Oof.
Just need your paper bags going in the stands. We'll be good to go.
Yeah.
Ryan, I'll go to you. What's your Central?
Cubs win the division. Second place is going to be a little different and maybe a little bit of a gamble here. I'm saying Milwaukee takes second.
I knew it. Yeah.
Hey, look. I keep doubting Milwaukee every year during the regular season, and they exceed my expectations, and they did it last year. Who had the freaking Brewers having the best record in baseball last season?
Yeah. Yep.
So I won't count the Brewers out completely just yet. I'll give them second place. I think Pat Murphy's a good manager too.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Yes, so I'll give the Brewers second place. Third place, I'll go Cincinnati. Fourth, Pittsburgh, and fifth, the Cardinals, in which might go down as one of their worst seasons. This could be their worst season in franchise history, possibly.
Yep. But you know what? There is also another team that could also have one of their worst seasons in history because they were bad last year, but they might be even worse this year. Let's go to the NL West. The NL West, I think, is number one, is a shoo-in. So I'm just going to just say that. I don't have to go any further than that. Number two, though. Number two, you could either say between the Giants and the Padres. Man, I'm going to go the safe bet and go Padres. I just like their bullpen a lot more. You know, Morejon, Miller, that's just a back end that you just can't beat. You know, when the Padres pretty much have leads early on with, of course, that offense, you go to that back end, you're screwed, right? So I'm going to go Padres second, Giants third. D-backs, I don't know really about the D-backs. I think that they were a wild card fringe team at best. I'm going to go 4. And then you have the Rockies. I'll go to Ryan.
The Rockies will win the NL West this year in some alternate universe.
But maybe an April Fool's Day. Maybe I'll say that.
Yes. Okay. In all sincerity, Dodgers number 1, Padres number 2. I will go Giants. I'm basically the same. I'm the same as you. Giants 3, Diamondbacks 4, and Rockies 5.
David.
Going Dodgers 1, going Giants 2. Love the Giants lineup. There's something about Posey seems like he's putting a really good team out there. It'll be interesting to see how they do. Padres 3, losing a couple starters. I know Darvish was banged up, all of whatever else he had to force to retire, but also losing Dylan Cease, I think could be a possibility issue there, standing with the rotation. Mm-hmm. Arizona 4, they're a team to me that could either be a surprise or they're a team that could just blow it up and start all over again and trade everybody. Mm-hmm. And then Colorado's Colorado.
They have a nice stadium. That's basically it.
Basically.
I think that's why I said, Ryan, we predicted the Rockies last year. They have a pretty nice stadium, and that's pretty much it.
It's beautiful. I saw it with my own eyes.
Yeah, you did. You did. So that's that.
All right. 1 year ago.
All right, we got like 3 to 5 minutes left. So I wanted to really quickly give you how the World Series predictions because it starts next week. And all I'm just going to ask for you guys is just what's going to be your championship in terms of the World Baseball Classic. For me, I'm going to go with the very quick, safe bet here. I got the United States of America taking on Japan. I think it's going to be very Canada-U.S.-esque in baseball, where, of course, both teams feel like that they are the premier baseball countries. And, Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani, I think that is baseball, in the universe. I think U.S. gets it done. I think U.S. is just on a very, very good tracking right now in terms of success. Ryan, what if I told you that Aaron Judge gets a ring for his country before your franchise's team? How would you feel about
it? I would just be happy to an extent, but I would still leave a big hole in my heart. So, yes.
That's fair. Right. It's kind of like with Jack Hughes for the Devils. A lot of Ranger fans and Islander fans. I always ask them. I said, "How do you feel about Jack Hughes? Scoring, but he's a rival type of team." But I got the U.S. winning it. I don't want to be a little biased here, but I just think U.S. is really playing well. They're on a roll. I think the Final Four. Watch the Dominican Republic. They're DR with Fernando and Soto and Tatis. They got an absolute unit over there. It should be fun. It should be a lot of fun. I think the games start in Tokyo. I think at 6 in the morning, if you guys want to be up for that. Next Thursday. U.S. plays their first game in Houston next Friday. So I do think when we come back next week, the real baseball around in terms of what baseball classic will be being played. So we can kind of talk a little bit about that next week. But I just want to get your overall really quick predictions. Ryan, I know I don't know how much you're going to follow this, but just really quickly, what's your overall prediction?
My overall prediction is the United States comes out of one side. And you know what? I'm going to spice it up a little bit. I will say the Dominican Republic comes out on the other side.
Let's see it.
I will say the championship game is between the United States and the Dominican Republic this year. And I will give the championship to the DR.
Okay. All right. I like that. Well, I don't like it in terms of our end, but I like the matchup. David, I'll go to you.
I'll be quick because I don't know the whole brackets thing. My finals is Dominican Republic versus Japan.
Oh, okay.
Here's why I don't like the U.S. That whole thing with Scoople. I'm going to pitch the one game, and then I'm going to kind of back out of it. And these guys are only going to throw like 60 pitches.
Skeens is only going to be pitching 2 games. That's what they reported as well. Scooble's only pitching 1 game, which, I mean, really quickly, guys, because I know we're out of time, but is it even worth it for him to even pitch in 1 game, or do they just give it to somebody else? Like, granted, I understand, it's his choice. He wants to pitch for his country, but he's going to be pitching against Great Britain. That's going to be a shoe-in type of win. I guess, Scooble, of course, wants to stat pad and have an absolute clinic of a game. By all means, that's fine. But, I know a lot of people, of course, were kind of bickering about that, but it's what it is. It's what it is. All right, guys, we are out of time here on Hitting for the Cycle, episode 90. Make sure, of course, to follow us on all of our socials. As usual, we will see you guys next week for another edition of Hitting for the Cycle with all of this stuff baseball related. But until next time, we will see you guys.